guys, hope and welcome back to my channel. I like musicals, they're a big part of my life, and today, because it's Pride Month, it's the end of Pride Month, but still, I'm going to be talking about 5 great LGBT musicals. Yeah, I don't really have much to say in this intro, I'm just really excited to do this video. Anyway, let's get into it. So my first musical is Falsettos. Now Falsettos follows a man called Marvin who has recently left his wife and child because he's realised he's gay, and the story follows him and his ex-wife Trina and their love lives, but at the same time it's also a coming of age story for their son Jason waiting for his upcoming bar mitzvah. This is like shows like Hamilton where it is sung the entire way through. It is a phenomenal show, and I'm not going to spoil the end or anything, but it will make you cry and you will be very sad. That's all I'm going to say. We're going to go on to the next one. Number 2, The Colour Purple. Now, for a musical about abuse and the awful experience of it, at the same time, this is a look at the protagonist Celia's sexuality and the way it developed across the show. This show is filled with so much heartache, but at the same time shows a phenomenal character development and shows us this beautiful growth of Celia as a woman as she understands more and more about herself. Overall, the musical is a great portrayal of such a topic while set in the early 1900s, and the music is great. It's got quite a jazzy feel to it, but it's amazing. Definitely one to listen to. Again, it's quite sad, but beautiful at the same time. Number 3, The Prom. The Prom is probably the most modern one on this list, and definitely one of the most underrated. The Prom follows 2 girls, Emma and Alyssa, who want to go to prom together. However, the school board doesn't allow it, which sparks this campaign of sorts to have fair treatment to gay couples and straight couples. It also tackles with the relationship between the two, as Alyssa is closeted and Emma is not. This is such an uplifting musical and it's really a lot of fun. If you want to see my reaction to the cast recording, I will link it in the description. Totally not a self-promo or anything. But yes, this musical is, I don't know how to describe it, it's super interesting and it's really sad that it got less than a year on Broadway. I really think it deserved more, but what can you do? But this is a great show that you should really go listen to because I feel like it got very overlooked when it was on Broadway. Number 4, Bring It On. Now, to be completely honest, I actually forgot that there was an LGBT character in Bring It On. If you don't know, Campbell, the main character, gets transferred to a new school, and at this new school are the heads of the street dance crew, not squad, although the alliteration would have been nice, and they are Danielle, Nautica, and La Cienega. And I was like, yep, they are all biologically girls. And it wasn't until I was reading something about the show and I was like, oh yeah, La Cienega is a transgender female. It's kind of sad because we don't really get a lot of that transgender representation, but we take what we can get and we pray for more. But this show is about a cheerleading competition and the friendships Campbell makes along the way. Also, Taylor Ladman, aka Regina George, and Elle McLemore, aka Heather McLemore. Heather McNamara are in the original Broadway cast, so it's definitely one to check out. Also, Gregory Haney, who plays La Cienega in the original cast, slays. So good, like, you just vibe with his character so much. You're like, yes, I stan you, if you get me. Listen to Ain't No Thing if you're looking for that transgender representation, because that's where he really gets to shine. Yeah. Anyway, on to the last one. And lastly, number 5, A New Brain. Written by William Finn, who wrote another great gay-themed musical, you guessed it, Falsettos, just bringing it full circle here, is a semi-autobiographical account of a medical condition Finn suffered with called AVM. In the original cast, Finn's musical counterpart is called Gordon, a musician who was played by the King, literally and figuratively, Jonathan Groff. I don't know why I lost my voice when I said Groff, but you know, I'm not doing it again. It's about his worries of surgery and the fact that he may die before finishing his work. But of course, he has a wonderful boyfriend called Roger, who is right there beside him. And we stan Roger. Honestly, he's like perfect boyfriend material, let me tell you. Actually, I don't have to tell you. You can go watch it, read it, do all that. It's just a whole bunch of useful in more ways than one. And unlike a lot of musicals, There's no real comeuppance or spat between the two of them. It's just like a nice relationship, which is wholesome and very much appreciated, because you usually find that there's some sort of, I don't know what this is, but I can't think of the word. Like they fight and then they make up and then it's a happy ending. But yeah, I also think because it's autobiographical, really get a sense of character, because the story and the plot are so unique and you really get a feel for this character of Gordon. And I think also, as it's kind of underrated, it's really one to go check out because it deserved more. Anyway, let me just move on. Okay, so they were my 5 musicals. LGBT musicals. They're not my top 5, they're just 5 that I was like, I want to talk about them. And obviously there are a lot more, but I do think that now is a great time for more. I'm very happy to see more. I would love to see more. I feel like having these, it's really hard to explain, but I wish there was more representation. Like if you noticed, I didn't include any bisexual characters, and I was really shocked that there are really no, especially bisexual and transgender characters in musicals. Like obviously for transgender you have Hedwig, and you also have in Head Over Heels, but it's not a very well-known musical. It's the Go-Go's musical, if anyone remembers it. It came to stage maybe last year, the year before. But that's really it. And then for bisexual, you really rarely find leads. The only 2 that I could find that were like definitive bisexuals were Maureen from Rant and Rich from Be More Chill. But both of those musicals are in such a mainstream, like they are usually, if you've heard of a musical, you've heard of at least one of those 2, whether it be, even if you're older, you've probably heard of Rent, and especially people of my age, you've definitely heard of Be More Chill. And it is really sad because, I don't know, I just think that yes, it's a lot more normal. Like for me personally, it doesn't matter who or what you choose to be, it doesn't make a difference. But I feel like in theatre that isn't the case. Like they definitely stand out, and I feel like a lot of musicals are written to make them stand out because they are who they are. And sometimes that's fine. Sometimes, like in Jamie, for example, everyone's talking about Jamie. He is gay and it's part of his personality and the whole show, but in other shows, I can't think of the ones that I'm trying to think of right now, but them having their sexuality, it's just kind of an added trait. I feel like a lot of musicals, especially older ones, trying to include, they're like, this is the most important thing about them, that they're gay or they're bisexual, to be like inclusion. But sometimes I think it's just done for the sake of doing it and not because you want to normalise it. I don't know if this makes any sense, and I'm really not trying to come off as rude, and I don't think anyone ever goes in when writing a musical to make it seem like malicious. But I do think sometimes that people are just like, we're going to put a character in so that we look more inclusive. And especially now, you can see that at this time, you see that there is a long way to go with inclusivity and diversity. And I think that we are the ones who need to start it. Obviously, you can accept people for who they are, and that's exactly what you should be doing. But I think that we need to represent these people from minorities or people from groups that are outside of the norm, which is just, I hate that term because they're not. They're just regular people like anyone else. But that's the phrase or whatever. But yeah, I just think, I don't know, like Andy, we need to be the change we want to see in the world, and I feel like we need to start here. It's hard to explain, I just wanted to say it because I felt like it was right, and that was a little rant, but I felt like I needed to put it in there, and I wanted to put it in there. I probably didn't get my point across very well, but you know, what can I do? I'm just a person who can't talk very well. Say that going into doing musical theatre. Well, that's very good for you. Well done, Hope. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, like it. If you liked it, subscribe. If you feel like it. I know you might. I'll wait. I'm joking. You don't have to subscribe if you don't want to. But, you know, keep enjoying musicals as much as me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.